Hi, this is episode 4 of Talking with Me. Uh, so, I'm Conrad, and this is my lovely gentleman guest,
Adam
Adam,
or AJ. Yeah.
AJ, Adam Johnson. Uh, so, let's start from beginning. So, can you tell us a few words about where you're from, where you're growing up, and stuff like that?
Yeah. Okay. So originally I'm from Hampshire in England. Was an army brat. Parents in the army. Uh, moved to, moved over to Scotland, and then over to here. Been here for probably the guts of near 20 years now. So yeah,
So, originally you're English,
yeah.
then
Don't
you
hold
moved
it
to
against me though.
Scotland. No, that's all right. My best friend is from England, but then you moved to Scotland.
hmm
So, what made you come here? Just
Parents got divorced. That was it.
so
My mum had family over here,
the
so my mum.
unlucky one went here.
Well, I mean, I didn't have much of a say in it, to be honest.
Nah, it's a lovely wee country, isn't it?
Well, it has its moments.
It has its moments. So it's any brothers, sisters?
Yeah. So I have one brother, and then I have two half brothers and half sister. My dad remarried and has three other kids. My brother is 2 years younger than me, and my sort of step or my half brother is like 15 years younger than me, and then there's the boy and the girl. There was a set of twins. They're 20 years younger than me.
You can say your dad is a stud.
Well, I mean, he's convinced there's no more, so
That's what I said.
Well,
I'm sticking to it.
yeah.
Now, so from such a large family and split apart, is anybody else lifting or anybody else doing any sports?
My younger brother is like it's like trial biking, I think it is. I don't know too much about it, to be honest.
The one with no seat.
No, it's like going down like basically there's a side of a mountain and I'm just gonna bomb down it.
Yeah,
There's
like
lots of
downhill.
yeah, like downhill stuff. Um, and he's supposed to be pretty good at it as well. Like he's got some like he does like races and stuff like that.
So basically, what he's good at is avoid the obstacles.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
But
Whereas
that's kind of cheating having a bike for it. You can
I
do it on a
mean,
scooter because you don't need to
I've
be pedaling for it.
I've tried it once when we went to Scotland to visit my dad, and I hit a tree, and then I got up, fell off the bike immediately, went down the rest of the hill. Thought I was, you know, thought I was all, big Mr. Big Lad. Did it in my third try. Didn't see that there was like a small river. Front wheel into that. Me over the handlebars onto this path in front of this like lovely family that was sort of just walking
Hi,
by.
hi, I'm AJ.
Pretty much.
Don't do my bike.
Uh,
Happens,
no, it does.
happens.
It does. It does.
So I was spying a little bit on your Instagram.
Mhm.
That's kind of job purpose. Uh, what's your other interests? Because I
My
tried to figure out, except the animals, I couldn't find anything except powerlifting, 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 competing, powerlifting, powerlifting. Dog.
yeah. Other interests. I always say I'm quite a boring person, to be honest. Like I really really like training. Like I would train powerlifting. I would train 4 sessions a week. I'd also try and do a couple of sessions of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu down at Stealth in Newton Ards. Um, Terrible at getting up, in time for the morning classes. Sorry.
Hi, Bradley.
Uh, um, but yeah, I try to do that, and then I like reading as well. Like that would be a little bit of a hobby. I also like playing Xbox and watching films and just general other
You like
random crap.
reading?
Yeah,
You, you,
like
you know
like
there's like
reading a book. Yeah,
audiobooks. You don't have to read anymore. No?
I
Joke,
much prefer
joking.
something in the hand. So
Well, except Harry. I think Harry Potter was the last thing I read. It. No, sorry, I'm actually reading Mental Combat. It's a book about how to set your mind for fighting and different stuff. But I'm reading that past year and I'm on second chapter. That's how good I am.
nice. No, I much prefer sort of horror thriller sort of type stuff, but
Stephen King.
yeah, Stephen King, favorite author, straight on the money there. You
I
know.
know something about books. I'm not that daft. So if you go to the sports, why powerlifting?
um,
From everything else,
from everything else, I sort of I say I sort of fell into it. I played rugby for a whole lot of years, um, and it just sort of like the only reason I ever sort of started strength training was because I wanted to get bigger and stronger for playing rugby. I had a season when I think it was under 16s or 17s. I went from being a centre and a winger to, a hooker in the front row, and I was about half the size of every other player on the pitch. So in my mind, I was just like, right, well, I'm not going to be the tallest. Well, I might as well be, the strongest or one of the strongest on the pitch.
just in case, hooker is a rugby position. Don't mix it up, okay?
Yeah, so from that, I got into sort of lifting weights that way. Like I used to do it in my kitchen. I had like a 40 pound like barbell kit,
Yeah.
from like Argos
From
back in the
Arcos,
day.
yes.
Yeah. I had one of them, and I didn't even have a bench or nothing. Like I used to like set chairs up and stuff, and like that would be my squat rack, and like I'd lay across a couple of chairs, and that would be my bench and everything. Did that like 3 times a week in the kitchen. Um, from then, it sort of developed. I sort of got into sort of like a more strength based stuff because Neil,
At the gym? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Like here?
because Neil Dugan, he was the strength and conditioning coach of the Newton Ards Rugby Club at the time. And basically, he invited me down to like a gym opening day. It's just like, yeah, deadlift day, come down, have a bit of crack, whatnot. I came down and I was just deadlifting. I was 19 at the time, hit,
It's like 2 years ago.
I wish. Yeah, so I hit a 200 deadlift, and it was horrible, horrible deadlift. Like I'm talking like proper awful, awful deadlift, but hit it anyway. And there was a couple of fellas that approached me. He's like, "Here, you're pretty strong. Have you ever thought about doing powerlifting?" I was like, "No, yeah, but I'll give it a try." Um, just sort of did more powerlifting, sort of strength-based training for rugby. Rugby was always the main thing. I ended up getting a couple of injuries. I tore my ACL, tore my meniscus, pulled the tibia out of alignment, one leg, and then I did pretty much the same thing to the other leg about a year later. And I had a couple of injuries in between that, like a fracture in that leg. I actually got a really bad, nasty sort of hamstring tear as well, which sort of called time on the rugby. From that, I pretty much just transitioned full time. Well, I say full time, but my focus went to powerlifting pretty much
So see,
around.
from all the injuries, especially with the knees,
Mm-hmm.
it's a long process of rehabilitation.
Yeah.
And see, in the time whenever like you can't train, you
Mm.
can't run, you can't play.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's mentally draining.
Yeah.
It's a horrible thing to do.
Yeah.
So I hear you have dogs.
Yes.
So you try to walk the dogs or do anything with the
I
dogs?
didn't have the dogs at that point.
No.
No, didn't have the dogs. My rehab was all like I got the TRX bands. I
Yeah.
did a lot of stuff with that. I did a lot of like balancing. I did a lot of stretching, flexibility, just to try and make sure I was coming back the best I could, because I wanted to get back on the pitch. Like that was my only my only goal. As soon as I did it, my knee just went bang, and I was like, crap, something has gone very badly wrong. It's like, right, shit, gonna be out for this amount of time. Okay, let's hit the gym. Let's get this stronger. I'll come back bigger, faster, stronger, better. And that was my sort of mentality through it. Um, didn't unfortunately didn't really come out that way, because as soon as I sort of came back, I think I got it maybe 3 games in, and like fractured that leg. Sort of just a wee small fracture, kept me out for about 6-7 weeks. And after that, came back and then was playing touch rugby, not even in a game, mid stride, my other knee just sort of buckled and that was the other knee gone. Had to get a surgery for that. Yeah, it was just unlucky, but the transition from powerlifting would have been about 2018, 2019 was when I really sort of started training properly for it.
That's when you retired from rugby.
Yeah.
And what age were you?
25.
25 years old. That's early for retiring from rugby, but
yeah,
you picked the sport.
It became a quality of life sort of issue.
Yeah.
Like it was affecting me in work. It was affecting me at home. It was obviously affecting me for rugby because I couldn't train. I couldn't, I was walking with like a limp. I was pretending I was okay. I wasn't really mentally sort of, taking care of myself.
You're always scared something going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. You're always sort of subconsciously sort of in there going, right, okay, what's going to happen next? I need to be careful with this.
Thinking. You pick from rugby, which is really, what do we call it, a magnet for injuries sport. You pick powerlifting.
Not been injured yet.
It's like, yeah, it's still, it's better, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to run so much, but it's still kind of hard on your knees.
Well, not necessarily, because with my knees, the only problem I ever get now is if I'm like turning and there's like, momentum with it. So say the only problem I ever have now is like I use a specific, example when I'm actually talking to the doctors and stuff about it. If I'm going around a corner in a shop with a trolley, I can feel this leg, because this one actually needs redone, just sort of slide and give out a little. That's it. Everything else, like the powerlifting, is great because it's on one sort of plane of motion, or one plane of movement, sorry. So it's up and down. Like there's no sort of shift in weight. There's no, sudden stops and change of direction, which is really what I need to avoid. So it suits me down to the ground, to be honest with you. Like I've tried the Olympic lifting as well, and I was incredibly bad at it. It was terrible. I just didn't have the ability. I didn't really enjoy it as much. Whereas I think it was more of like a sort of toxic masculinity sort of thing, which is I want to lift really heavy weights.
Yeah. And then everybody proving no. But we saw you squatting. I don't even gonna go into my squat because that's just embarrassing. But
look, everyone's starting.
223 kilo, easy. Just that's incredible for your body weight, which is.
I would lift in the 83 kilo, or so under 83 kilo class.
So that's nothing. Like 83 kilo, it's like my left leg on a easy day.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say just your left leg, like.
No, like you're a big lad, and that's a massive squat.
It's probably my best lift, to be honest. Like, with powerlifting, obviously we've got the bench and the deadlift and the squat. I usually find myself in competitions. My squat, I'm fast out the blocks with a decent squat, and then bench is sort of where I lag behind a little bit, and then deadlift is sort of where I have to try and like keep up with the rest of the guys who have a really impressive bench.
So what would be your best deadlift? Because your top squat is 230.
230, yeah. Best deadlift at the moment, 232.5. So they're pretty equal. Goal for the year is to get a 600 kilo
total
comp total. So that's the so ideally in my head I have it like a 230 squat, 240 deadlift, and like a 130 bench.
And what's your bench at the moment?
It's like 122.5.
That's decent.
Well, bench. I mean, there's guys in my weight class that are doing like 160. So I'm lagging behind there. But I mean, my mentality for it is just like, right, okay, let's do that more. Let's get better at that.
But what we need to say as well, like AJ competing in powerlifting organization federation as drug free, so they're all tested, and there's no steroids. So before somebody says you can't lift it without steroids, yes you can.
Oh yeah. There's guys much stronger than me that are drug free. Powerlifting is actually one of the few sports in the world that you can, if you want to use performance enhancing drugs, you can do that in an untested federation. So there's no reason for people who are taking stuff to come in and like cheat,
Yeah.
because there is a place for people who want to do that. Like I have always lifted in the NIPF, and I've always sort of, never really wanted to do any sort of, wouldn't even cross my mind to do any sort of performance enhancing stuff. Like I always joke with the guys, it's like I'm a big wuss. Like I can't even drink protein shakes without getting like a tummy ache. It's like really, really like really, really bad. Like so, like there's like pretty much I run on like caffeine and just
And rage.
yeah, caffeine and rage. That's it. That's just it.
Caffeine, rage, and lifting.
Yeah, pretty
Perfect
much.
mix. Apologize if I have a wee bit of difficulties there. So coming back to questions, AJ, you compete in what do you call your federation again?
The NIPF, Northern Irish Powerlifting Federation.
NIPF. You always compete for them? Did you done any other federations?
No, like I mean, it is sort of a subsidiary of British Powerlifting. So within British Powerlifting, you'll have the NIPF, you'll have the Scottish Powerlifting Federation, Welsh Powerlifting,
English.
and yeah, so on and so forth. But yeah, no, obviously I live over here, so I would just compete for the NIPF. If I wanted to travel and do stuff, I probably could, but it's a lot of traveling for like.
So before we go into traveling, what would be your most the one stick to your memory, like the biggest competition you have, or the best competition, or the competition you just absolutely blowed, something just stick in your head, you're always gonna remember it?
Commonwealth. End of the last year, I was selected for Northern Ireland, and got the opportunity to go to New Zealand and compete in the Commonwealth Powerlifting Championships in Auckland. It was brilliant. Like no words can describe it. Like I know it's really, really crap that I can't describe it on like a thing where I'm supposed to be talking about it, but it was just
astonishing.
Yeah, it was such like a great sort of privilege to represent your country, but also to be able to travel to like the other side of the world and see like a completely different sort of culture and completely different like place. It was just everything about it was class.
And just learn they are built different.
Oh yeah, like the gravity is just totally different in New Zealand. It really is. It was unreal. Like that's the only way I can describe it. I mean, just to get there, I mean, it took, there was a lot of fundraising I had to do, because obviously powerlifting's it's not a big popular sport, so there's not a lot of funding and whatnot.
Not
the
funding,
NIPF,
no sponsors.
no, nothing like that. So everything, it's self-funded. So like for me to get there, I had to, pay for it myself. And the way I did that was I actually got a lot of help from friends, family, and like the gym itself. Like we did some fundraisers. We did like a teens powerlifting sort of seminar. We did like a sort of mock meet sort of in house to help raise funds to get me to be able to go. Did other fundraisers like a wee sort of. I got donated a Northern Ireland women's football top and did like a raffle on it, and got money for that. Like so, like there was a lot of help from like the the general sort of community, friends and family, people I didn't even know that were like, here, here's a tenner, don't want anything, just good luck. I hope you do well. And I mean that was unreal. Like it was a real sense of like, holy crap, like this is.
I'm sure that's built you up as well, and
Yeah,
strange people
it
come and help
really,
you.
yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, it's such a weird feeling, just people. It's gonna sound really tragic, but people being like nice to you, just randomly.
Yeah.
There's good people out there, and there's people that want to see local athletes do well and succeed and be able to do, and go places. So yeah, like I mean, the gym was like, I always say it's sort of the family you choose, really. Like in here,
Yeah.
It's the family you choose, and it's such a warm and welcoming place. And it was just like when I got the email sort of saying, everyone was just like, right, okay, so how are we gonna get you there? Sort of
To be
let's
honest, I got a screenshot of it
yeah.
because I went on your Instagram, so like Commonwealth Games New Zealand screenshot it. I have to learn more about it.
No, it was class. It was unreal. Like I ended up going to get there. I had to take a flight from Belfast City to it was Heathrow, and then I had to go from Heathrow to San Francisco, and then from San Francisco to Auckland. So it was like an hour flight, a 10-hour flight, and a 13-hour flight. Uh, it wasn't as
Jesus.
bad as it sounds, to be fair,
It's
because you
like
get like
24 hours in the plane.
yeah, you pretty much spend a full day on the plane. Like, but I mean, I had like a tablet with like films and stuff, and it was like films on the plane and stuff. Like that was grand, you
Did they
know.
feed you?
Mm?
Did they feed you?
The Fiji as well, yeah. You know,
Any good food?
no, it was awful, absolutely terrible, like unedible, like or inedible, yeah, inedible, like a good lot of it
That's what my
inedible.
missus said about my food most of the times as well. I'm not sure I'm a bad cook or maybe I'm just supposed to work on the planes. One of two. But
Maybe.
talking about food, so you're competing on like world level now. What would be your
Yeah.
diet?
See,
Evil.
ah, my missus is gonna crack up, like just bent over with laughter at this. So I,
You have to have a really healthy diet.
yeah,
I hear
I mean,
the
I totally don't like eat Greggs and McDonald's all the time.
no.
I didn't wake up today and have like ice lollies for
No, of course not.
breakfast. No,
Good you specify Greg's. Greg's is really unhealthy. He's the
Greg's
worst
is
place.
awful.
Yeah. McDonald's is horrific. See those double chicken burgers? No.
At least McDonald's, you eat McDonald's and you can be like, oh, it was alright, it was filling. Greg's, it just like you eat it and you just feel
I
depressed.
never see as a professional athlete never had McDonald's in my life.
Yeah, so I am a little bit like in here, and just people that know me, I am a little bit sort of lax with the diet. Like, I have been known to warm up with a chocolate bar or two.
No, but that's what professional athletes do.
Exactly, it's a very powerlifter mindset. I'm just cultivating mass,
I'm trying to tell my missus I don't eat junk. I'm just
cultivating
storage the
mass. Yeah,
energy.
exactly,
Like I need chocolate to perform.
exactly. But yeah, so obviously for competitions, I need to be like under 83 kilos. So if I'm eating chocolate and eating crap all the time, obviously that's not gonna be very good for me making weight. So what I tend to do is, say about 10 weeks out from competition or something, I will sort of start reining the diet in, and I do that basically by replacing meals with healthier stuff. So instead of me getting up and being like, oh, there's chocolate and there's lollipops for breakfast, I was like, right, okay, bowl of porridge, bang, that'll be my breakfast every day. I'll go to work and I'll bring a packed lunch instead of going to the shop and getting whatever it may be. And then,
Potatoes.
and then when I get home, uh, me and the missus will make dinner, and then it's just a case of keeping sort of portion control sorted. And then what will happen is my weight will naturally sort of just go down very gradually, so I don't feel, like
Tired.
yeah, exactly. So I'm not doing like a cut. I'm just looking after myself, And once the competition's done, I mean, the first thing I'm going to do is go and get a kebab. Like, I mean,
Of
I'm going to
course.
pig out and stuff myself silly, but I mean,
But kebabs are healthy. They're full
they
of
are
protein,
they're
like
full of
good
yeah,
fats.
they're full of some meat. I don't know what meat it is, but it's something.
I think I've seen some probably meat.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm not the person that's gonna like harp on about diet and you have to eat 20 bananas a day or something, because I'm not like that.
I have a friend who had 20 apples, ended up in hospital because they're really bad for you at that amount. I didn't even know.
Didn't know that
They
either.
actually done it twice.
Nice.
Yeah. Hi, Johnny.
Oh God, I did him on camera and all. No, like I do rein it in for competitions, and as I've sort of developed it more as an athlete, I've got better at it, because there's been competitions before. I'm like, ah, oh, okay, so I have like 3-4 kilos to play with. I'm pretty really light for this weight class. So, 30 minutes to weigh in. Oh, let's go get a fry, which is like the worst thing you can do. You
Yeah.
know, it's you don't even compete. You're like, yeah, that sounds like an awful suggestion. I've
Remember,
done that, like, and then just completely, had a terrible competition, walked off the platform. Like, that was awful.
yeah.
It's like,
I remember I was prepping for my last strongman show, and I have to be under 105, and I starved myself. And done all the water. I can't remember what you call it. The water thing was you have to drink so many pints of water
oh yes,
for so many days, and
yes,
then at last day you just cut the water off.
yeah,
It's like
like a water cut sort of thing.
so I went to weigh myself, and I was 0.2 too much. So I think it was 105.2, and I was 1.2.4. So I have to grab the poor fella to the bathroom, strip naked, and stand on scales. I was just on point, say happy days, and I was starving. Didn't have anything to eat. And first thing I did, run over to the petrol station. I was in Limavady. I had a big box of berries, some chocolate bars, and my mate say, "Your kebab shop is open here." No way. At that time, say, "Yeah." Well, what what kebab shop is open at 10 o'clock in the morning? But sure, went and grabbed the kebab,
Nice,
stuffed the kebab in my face, and I thought I'm gonna die. My
nice.
stomach just make a concert inside me. But sure, could be worse.
It could be worse. I
Still went
mean,
fifth out of 10, so I was really chuffed with myself.
oh well, I mean that's not too bad then. We've had a fella who, and this we actually had to change the rules in the gym because of it. He was competing and he was determined to compete even though he wasn't feeling well. On his third squat, he vomited.
Oh,
I mean, he held it in his mouth like a champ, like, but I mean, he vomited on the platform. It was nice.
well, that's happened kind of often. Like I see ladies, guys as well, either vomiting or weeing herself a wee bit, which is
Yes,
natural now. Like
yes.
it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just thing
Oh, it's
happens.
marking your territory.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly. A few times I have like really close call with fart whenever squatting, but never squat to 100 kilos. I would probably just get my guts out. And like, talking about funny stuff, right? So let's get to the weird things we have to talk about.
Okay.
What's the most controversial opinion, if you have any?
Are you looking for anything specific?
No, you
No.
tell me the most something they're gonna rattle the cage of every single person gonna watch that video, either positive or negative.
Okay. I'm gonna look at the camera. CrossFit is not a sport; it's just branded circuit training.
I would love to say no to that
Mm.
because I know lots of CrossFitters, but I'm not going to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but he's absolutely right about it. Yeah,
It's branded circuit training.
it is. It's don't get me wrong. The games, the Reebok games, massive layout of people.
I think CrossFit in general, like, don't get me wrong, anybody that's moving,
No, it's
doing
brilliant. Yeah,
exercise, brilliant, 100%. But I just, it's branded circuit training. It's just circuit training with, you know, stickers. That's all it is.
like they're
that's that's
phenomenal
that's the
athletes.
that's the controversial opinion.
But so they're phenomenal athletes. Can't take that away from them. They're doing a ridiculous amount of job. The training they do, but still, it's how many setups you can do in a minute.
Circuit training. I mean,
It's still the same
I'm.
thing you got after the MMA club or after
Mhm,
boxing class. It's exactly the same thing.
mhm. But yeah, no, that would be the. I could have said, like, pineapple doesn't belong on pizza, but I'd totally eat
But it
pineapple on
doesn't.
pizza. You
But
know,
I will eat it anyway because I just like
yeah,
pizza.
I just like pizza.
Yeah. Good. Now, tell us your best. Well, tell us your best joke. Because normally it's
No, I'll say a dad joke because I will get shouted at by my missus if I tell a dirty joke.
no, not really.
Oh no, I will. I will.
Okay, I want to hear that after.
Yeah. Um. Okay. I'm totally not gonna. I've completely forgotten it, so I'm not gonna totally like bring it up on my phone. Okay. Why do fathers take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing? In case they get a hole in one. Oh, I feel so ashamed.
Oh,
I feel
oh, I
so
think I pulled
ashamed.
something in my back. I'm sorry. But on that bombshell, we finish. Thank you very much. Much
Pleasure.
appreciated.
Pleasure.
Till next time. What's the dirty joke?
It's not even that dirty. Like,
Oh,
it
come
was,
on, hit me with it.
the child bear. Okay, it's like, what does a horny frog say? Rub it.
I'm daft.
No.
Rabbit.
Rub it.
Robert. 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 That's a good one. Whether she haven't turned it off yet.
Yeah,